Hailie Deegan joins her third NASCAR team in 3 years, and console gamers rejoice. There is finally hope on the horizon. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Grooves. A lot of news today, a lot of news to catch up on from earlier this week. But first, we have to thank our sponsor. Aluma Trailers lets you take fun anywhere. Check it out. Heading to the roll-in or car show, Aluma Trailers are the ideal choice for hauling your classic car or truck. Aluma has trailers that are made for low-profile vehicles. Easy to load, easy to unload. Aluma has new wide-body trailers that can accommodate the widest vehicles and larger side-by-sides. Maybe you're looking to get the ATV or motorcycle out, no problem. Aluma offers a huge selection of high-quality, dependable, recreational, and utility trailers that can help you get your adventure started. Take fun anywhere. Find your local Aluma dealer and begin your Aluma adventure. Click the top link down in the description to learn more. Thanks to Aluma for sponsoring this episode. Before we talk about video games and Hailie Deegan, we've got to wrap some things up from Talladega. Earlier this week, we talked about the Matt Crafton-Nick Sanchez fight. NASCAR on Tuesday announced penalties for both drivers and one of the drivers' dads. That's how you know it was a racing fight. NASCAR fined Matt Crafton $25,000. They fined Nick Sanchez $5,000, and Nick Sanchez's father was suspended for the rest of this season for his role in the altercation. Now, NASCAR VP of Competition Elton Sawyer was on SiriusXM NASCAR radio earlier in the week, and he explained the reasoning behind why each driver was penalized in this case.
We felt like with some of the comments that were made, by Nick, and we totally understand that's in the heat of the battle, but we just can't have those type of comments. And then on Matt's side, we looked at the fact that, Matt had some time to think about the situation. It wasn't like both drivers got out on pit road, heat of the battle, they go down and they have a discussion with each other. This one spilled over into the garage sometime after the event. So
I've not seen a statement from Matt Crafton yet, but Nick Sanchez did release one. Here's what Sanchez said. "At this time, I will accept NASCAR's penalty issued after the post-race occurrence at Talladega. It is a very unfortunate situation that negatively impacted a lot of individuals and the sport we are all so very passionate about and privileged to participate in each day. As for the incident, anything that doesn't pertain to bettering myself as a race car driver or winning doesn't have my energy or focus and never will. I look forward to continuing my quest for the championship in Miami." So fines for both drivers. Man, when was the last time someone got penalized in NASCAR for throwing a punch? I mean, Kyle Busch socked Joey Logano in the jaw at Las Vegas a few years ago. No penalty. Austin Hill laid out Myatt Snider on pit road last season. No penalty. Ross Chastain hit Noah Gragson across his bolt cut earlier this season, no penalty. You heard from Elton Sawyer, heat of the moment is one thing, but Matt Crafton had like an hour after the on-track incident to simmer, let things cool off. He was in street clothes by the time he went and confronted Nick Sanchez. I guess NASCAR looked differently at that. We still don't have confirmation as far as whose story is correct. Remember, Nick Sanchez claims he just got completely blindsided, punched in the face without warning, without any chance to defend himself. Matt Crafton pushed back against that narrative, said, no, we were engaged, arguing, yelling. He threatened me first. We still don't know what's true, but the fact that Crafton got hit with a $25,000 fine for punching, that's pretty rare in NASCAR. That tells me he did something that crossed the line. Nick Sanchez, a $5,000 fine for what he said. Yeah, you can't yell that you're going to, effing kill someone and everyone pretend that's okay. Like, heat of the moment for sure, but still, that's not a good look whatsoever. So a little slap on the wrist for that is understandable. Like I said the other day, fighting in NASCAR is fine. If both adult men are engaged in the battle, that's great. Fights like that are what built NASCAR in the 70s, 80s, 90s, into the modern day, quite honestly. But if what Nick Sanchez alleged was true, that Crafton in street clothes just sucker punched him without warning, that crosses a line, absolutely, and deserves at least a fine. So again, it's hard for me to speak too confidently on this because I don't know exactly who or what started the physical altercation, but we now know where NASCAR lands on this. Fines for both drivers and a suspension for Nick Sanchez's dad, I suppose, for getting in there and throwing some punches as well. NASCAR doesn't like it when non-drivers get physical. Remember that Joey Logano crew member a few years back who yanked Denny Hamlin to the ground at Martinsville, I think? I think he got suspended for at least a race for doing that. So, if the fight doesn't directly involve you, they don't want you escalating it. Let me put it that way. Let me know what you make of this down in the comment section below. Hopefully we can all move on from here on out. Now let's talk about something more positive. This morning I woke up to some glorious news. NASCAR has sold their console game license to iRacing. They released this short teaser video describing their new project as, quote, a brand new NASCAR simulation style console game coming in 2025 with everything you've been asking for. Everything we've ever asked for? Ooh, that's a big promise there. But no, this is really exciting. NASCAR has not had a new cross-platform console game release since the end of 2021 with NASCAR 21 Ignition. We don't speak of Ignition nowadays, especially not on such a bright day for NASCAR console gaming such as this one. I've said this before, but without NASCAR Thunder 2004, I probably never become a big NASCAR fan. And I know many of my good friends who I've met over the past few years would say very similar things about their favorite respective NASCAR console game from the mid-2000s. I've met younger fans who grew up with Inside Line, the Technics titles. Some even love the early NASCAR Heat Evolution, Heat 2, Heat 3 titles. Hey, at least those were functional. Everyone knows NASCAR has one of the oldest fan bases of any major sport, and that's good and that's great. That's great that there are so many fans still loyal to stock car racing after all these years. That's something to celebrate. But if NASCAR is going to maintain its current size and scale, if it's ever going to grow, they need to reach younger audiences. And I'm not necessarily talking about 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. They need to reach 20-year-olds. These last couple races, Talladega, Texas, only 15 or 16% of the TV audience has been under the age of 50. That percentage has to go up. And now, even if you have a hard time getting younger fans to tune in and to USA Network on Sunday afternoon, you need to find ways to engage with them in other ways. An accessible, fun console video game is maybe the best way to do that, in my opinion. So we're going to have to wait around a little while, not until 2025, could be Q1, Q2, could be the end of the season, could be the off season, who knows? But still, bright days are ahead. iRacing and NASCAR obviously have a great relationship. I'm excited to see what they can do now that they have the console gaming license. This is very exciting. I think NASCAR gaming fans have plenty of reasons to be very optimistic this morning. So I'm excited too. Lastly, there was a major silly season confirmation this morning. Hailie Deegan is moving up to the NASCAR Xfinity Series full-time. She will drive for AM Racing in the number 15 Ford. She's got some new sponsors on board. Take a look at this paint scheme. I actually love this. Something about it just speaks to me. This is cool. Team says it's a multi-year deal. Welcome to the Xfinity Series, Hailie Deegan. I saw this tweet from Truck Series driver Dean Thompson. He seems very happy that she's moving up series. What are the expectations for Deegan next year? I don't really know, because AM Racing isn't a great Xfinity Series team. I mean, with Truck Series champion Brett Moffitt behind the wheel this season, they've managed only 1 top 5, 9 top 10s. I saw today AM Racing also confirmed that they've renewed their partnership with Roush Yates Engines, but I'm not sure. Will they get more support from Ford now that it's a Ford development driver driving one of their cars? So if the cars aren't any better next year than they were this year, Hailie Deegan's going to struggle next year. She'll run 20th to 25th every week at best. But if Ford is stepping in and giving them better equipment, access to better notes and research, then maybe Hailie Deegan can contend for some top 10s and top 15s. This is just speculation on my part, but I do wonder if AM Racing could sort of replace Stewart-Haas Racing as Ford's primary Xfinity Series team. Because look at Stewart-Haas Racing. With Eric Almirola more than likely about to retire, Cole Custer is probably going to move back up into the Cup Series, and there have been rumors floating around that Riley Herbst could take his funding over to Joe Gibbs Racing. Suddenly SHR's got nobody left in the Xfinity Series. That team will all but close down more than likely. So maybe Ford will then pour their resources instead into AM Racing. Just a theory of mine. Not sure if there's any truth to it yet. Just speculation. Say that AM Racing car is as good as a Stewart-Haas Xfinity car, then Hailie Deegan should contend for top 10s pretty regularly. But if not, AM Racing is a mid-pack Xfinity Series team. So I don't know. I don't expect much from Deegan next year, but we'll have to wait and see how good her cars truly are. I know a lot of fans are going to groan. Oh, what has Hailie Deegan done to deserve yet another promotion? And I completely get that. Look, the hype around Hailie Deegan hit its peak in 2019. It's been downhill ever since. She won those K&N races. She showed a confidence and aggressiveness that, to me, told me she belonged. It helped her stand out. But since then, she spent a year in ARCA, went winless, and like I said, she just ran 3 seasons in the Truck Series. She just scored her 5th top 10 finish, 5 top 10s in 67 starts. There's been very little tangible progress, 0 top 5s. Her average finish is about the same all 3 years. Her point standing is about the same all 3 years. She does have only 4 DNFs this year compared to 7 last year, so I guess that's something. But speaking of something, as negative as I may sound, I do believe there is still something there. A teeny tiny spark, just gasping for oxygen. Keep in mind, last year, she did make one Xfinity Series start for SS Greenlight. I think she got some pretty heavy support from Ford. But still, she ran 13th at Las Vegas in her debut. That's pretty darn great. She's held her own in the SRX over the last couple of summers. She's still really young. I still believe she can improve, and she does bring value to a race team. She's a media machine. More than 500,000 subscribers here on YouTube, 1.4 million Instagram followers, 3.2 million TikTok followers. My goodness. Hailie Deegan does bring value. I just hope we see her on-track performance improve. Look, other drivers have struggled in trucks and shown great strengths in the Xfinity Series. Harrison Burton is a great recent example. Couldn't win in trucks despite being in some of the best equipment. Moved up to Xfinity, and I think it was 2020. Didn't he have a 4-win season in Xfinity? Like, where did that come from? The trucks, the Xfinity cars, and the Cup cars all drive so differently from one another nowadays. It's sort of jumbled up the development pipeline, the system. Part of the reason we see Carson Hocevar potentially skipping the Xfinity Series altogether is because each series is so different from each other at this point. Like, if you have Cup Series aspirations, might as well just get into the Cup Series, start learning the Gen 7 now so you don't fall even further behind. Hopefully Hailie Deegan has some success. What is true in all this, though, is that Ford's development pipeline still lacks talent. The good news for Ford, though, is that their Cup Series lineup more or less is pretty well set for the near future. You know, they've already replaced Harvick and Boyer. Eric Almirola will probably be replaced by Cole Custer if and when he retires. But there are still some questions going forward. You know, Ryan Preece, year to year, can he show improvement? Even Cole Custer or Austin Cindric over at Penske. Yes, they both have family connections to their respective teams, but Custer hasn't shown us much special in Cup, and Austin Cindric this year has been an outright disaster in my opinion. And even at RFK, Brad Keselowski, he's only 39 years old. He could easily race for 4, 5, 6, 8 more seasons, but he's a busy man. Maybe there's a chance he could step away from driving in the next couple of years to focus on, the many other aspects of his business. So Ford will need more good drivers. Right now they've got Hailie Deegan. I guess they've got some folks at ThorSport, although I wouldn't be shocked now that Deegan is leaving ThorSport if ThorSport switched back to Toyota. They just keep switching back and forth every couple of years. Riley Herbst could be gone. Like, Ford's development system is barren at this point. Not desperate, but it's still something that needs some work quickly. Losing Zane Smith to Trackhouse was a huge blow a few weeks back. Anyway, let me know down in the comments, what are your expectations for Hailie Deegan? Again, it depends on the amount of support she's getting. If those are Stuart Haas caliber Ford rides, she should be running top 10, top 15 off the bat. If it's truly AM Racing doing what they did this season, then I expect her to struggle. We'll find out hopefully soon exactly what kind of equipment she has underneath her. But thanks for watching this video, y'all. That's going to do it. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. We talk NASCAR racing every single day here on Out of the Groove. And as always, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters for your continued support of the show. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. We'll be back tomorrow, I believe. Got to talk about the Charlotte Roval. Round of 12 comes to an end this weekend. Round of 8 just around the corner. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'll see you again real soon.